Hey guys, Erin from Next Evolution. So if you've seen the first video, that's the flow. So I always recommend starting this. The next one we're going to do about a 10-minute quick yoga flow that is going to really work on opening the hips. Okay, so this is a great one if you are going to be doing squats, if you're going to be doing anything heavy, lower body. If you've maybe just sat all day and just need some movement and some blood flow through here. We sit just as a society way too much, and of course right now with quarantine, we're sitting way too much. So what you need to grab is a yoga block if you have it. If you don't have that, a couple other options. You can use a dumbbell. This is just a 15-pound dumbbell, okay? You're just using a lot of these for balancing poses. And if you don't have any of these, what you can do, I know everybody probably has a jar of peanut butter in your cupboard or a mason jar or something. You just want it a nice and sturdy jar. Again, you're just using it for balancing to make sure alignment is there. Okay, so typically you would be ending your flow into downward dog. Okay, so if everybody can jump into downward dog, you're going to take one leg, lift it as high as you can. Okay, bending the knee at 90 degrees. And then you're going to twist that hip open, so you're pulling that foot all the way back, keeping the other one nice and straight, and opening up the hip. So this really starts to open up your hip flexor. Okay, hold here for a couple breaths. As you inhale, you're going to rotate those hips back parallel to the ground, taking the knee all the way towards the chest, bringing the weight a little bit forward, and then you're planting that foot down in between your hands. Okay. So as you're here planted, sorry, I'm going to rotate back here again. Okay, making sure you're nice and stable first. So nice and stable. I find if you come up on the back heel, brace that core, bring the hands all the way up into what we call a crescent lunge or a lunge position. So lunge position, you're nice and deep into here, and back is straight. Okay, going into our crescent lunge movement. Okay, bending that knee and bringing it down, but not touching the ground. Inhale again, rise up. So again, bend that knee, come close to the ground. You're going to drive through this heel and squeeze this glute to come all the way up. Again, exhale to lower. Inhale to rise. Okay, hands are up. Get back into your crescent lunge position. As you inhale, you're going to tip and straighten that back leg. As you tip your body forward, you're going to bring those arms down and around, pulling them back, pull the shoulders away, squeeze the scapula, really rise that chest. Okay. Inhale, come back down to crescent lunge, making sure that knee is bent. Okay. Exhale, straighten that leg, arms the body come forward, squeezing the scapula, lifting the chest. Exhale, come back down, crescent lunge. One more time, straighten that leg, swoop the arms, squeeze the chest, all the way through. Okay. Option for what we call a lunge twist. So bringing your hands, so when I bring my hands together, I actually like to use the tippy pads of my fingers. If you have range of motion where you can't make prayer position, feel free. Okay, then you're placing those hands. You've got kind of a little ridge into the middle of your belly. Sorry, upper belly. Okay. Inhale to lift, so as you exhale, you're just twisting up the thoracic, so thoracic mid-spine. So ladies, that's where your bra strap is. Dudes, it's kind of where the biggest part of our back is, okay? So as you inhale, you lift, exhale, you twist. So this is a great one to start stretching through glutes, stretching through IT bands, keeping that back leg nice and lifted, okay? Option if you have the range to hook the elbow onto the outside leg and push forward. Again, keeping that back leg nice and lifted. Another option for you is to what we call open your wings. So lowering the hand and then bringing it all the way up. Okay. Back down to center. Inhale to rise. Bring the hands down, planting them on each side. And then option again to lower that back leg. Okay. So you're into what we call a full lunge position. Okay. So this is where you need to grab your block, your weight, your jar, whatever you need. So as you inhale, you're bringing that knee forward, rising all the way up. So the couple of different things you can do, you can bring that knee over the ankle. If you want a little bit more into the adductor, if you want a little bit more into the hip flexor, keeping the knee aligned with the ankle, bring those hands up, and then you get a nice big stretch through the hip flexor, okay? Grabbing that block as you exhale, you're gonna walk the block back, straighten that front leg, so you get a nice deep stretch through here, and then sit that butt back. So again, making sure the back is flat, chest is lifted, as you bring the chest towards the knee. So you get a nice intensive stretch through the hamstring, through the calf. Again, for the deeper stretch, you can have those toes look back at you. Okay? Again, nice flat back, chest towards knee. Okay? Inhale, you're gonna walk back, forward. Again, bringing either that knee over so you get a little bit more adductor stretch, over my hip flexor stretch, lifting the chest nice and high. Okay, option if you want to raise your arms, you absolutely can. Okay, back to straighten leg, hips back, and again, hips back, we want to make sure they're aligned. So most people, they kind of come forward. So taking the hip with the same leg as you use the straight leg and pulling it just back a little bit. Okay, chest is lifted, and again, chest towards knee. Have those toes look back at you. One time more forward. And then inhale back. So when we're holding positions, I'd say we want to hold it for 15, 30 seconds, a full minute if you want to do a little bit more restorative, so you're really getting deep into those poses. That should be enough. We're going to move into what we call lizard pose. So lizard pose is kind of one of my favorite, especially for a lot of the squatters out there, anybody that is getting into squatter, because it really starts opening up those hips. So first of all, you're going to heel toe your foot kind of out to the edge of your mat. Then you're going to roll over until what we call the knife edge of your foot. So it really opens up. So some people don't have that range of motion, and that's totally fine. Whatever kind of gets this opened up a little bit more. So you start feeling a little bit more pull through your adductors, so through the inner side. If that's too much for you, you can place your foot down, but just making sure that that foot is either pointing to 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock, depending on what side you're at. Placing the opposite hand of that bent leg in front of your face, and taking the same hand from the same bent leg and just placing it on the inside of that knee. Okay, again, chest is lifted, and you're not reefing on that leg, you're just giving a nice little pull. Just a nice little push, sorry. Okay, so this starts opening the hips up. Okay, so again, 15-second, 30-second hold. Okay, and once you're there, option to go deeper. So this is where you bring in your blocks. So again, yoga blocks, you have 3 different heights. Dumbbells, you only have 2 different heights. And the jar, we only have 1 height. You can use the yoga block for right now. So bringing your forearms down onto the block. If we were going to use the jar, you may have to be creative in placing one forearm down and the other one on top. Okay, same thing with the dumbbell. It might be a little bit higher for you. Okay, so as you're here, you're really kind of opening up that hip. So the idea is this one compared to the last one, you're getting deeper into that hip joint. Okay, again, that hold for 15, 30 seconds or a minute. Once you're done, bringing that foot back down to center, heel toe all the way forward. Okay, and then you'll sequence to the other side. Once you're done the other side, you're going to swing the feet back, big toes to touch. Knees are as wide as the mat, and we're going to do what's called an active child's pose. So you're taking your hips towards the heels as much as you can. Then you're going to walk those hands out. Now, if you have shoulder issues, you can be nice and wide, but ideally you want them parallel with the shoulders. Okay? Sinking the chest down to the ground. Again, if you have major shoulder issues, the option too you could do is stack your fists down and placing your forehead onto the fists. Okay? So you've got 3 or 4 different options for this, but the idea is you're really feeling a nice hip open and you're getting a nice release and stretch to the glutes and the back. It's a nice active child's pose through here. So once you've done both sides, doing the active child's pose, okay? Once you come out of child's pose, you're going to come up into your fours. And we'll go into what we call squats. So this is a great time to have a yoga block, or if you have a pillow or something like that, or if you can hold squat, that's great too. So taking both hands or legs, bringing the feet towards the hands, stepping up. Okay. and then sinking those hips down. Okay? So this is what we call Malasana in yoga, or we call deep squat. Making sure the elbows are into the inside of the knees, hands to prayer position, and then lift that chest up. Okay, so the idea is you want to have a really nice flat back, as flat as possible. A little out of practice, but ideally you watch this. The other option if you're going to use a block is sit on the block. Okay, arms are on the inside still, and then you're just working more so left balance and more so in really opening those hips up. Okay. Once you're finished holding, again for that 15, 30 second or 1 minute, placing your hands down onto the ground, lift the hips up, heel toe all the way in so that your feet are aligned underneath the hip. When you're ready, roll all the way up. So vertebrae by vertebrae, the last thing you're going to roll is your shoulders and then your head. So this is a great little sequence that you can do at home before a workout, or anytime you're back in the gym before you squat. Excellent. If you have any questions, please feel to DM us, but this is a great